Good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September the 18th. And you're coming live from Miami. And today is New Comic Book Wednesday. It's the one day during the week that we finally hope that it's Christmas, and when we get to the comic store that we get the books that we wanted. The music you're just listening to is by Roman Messer and David Asprey. It is Eternity. And I guess I'm going to be doing a little bit of musical openings and musical closings because, well, I'm trying to make this look a little bit more professional. Although it would help if up in the corner it would read Wednesday correctly. But that is neither here nor there. Hello, J Hood Creative along with Bullseye Comic Books. Yesterday was J Hood's first broadcast. It was not live, I believe. It was a premiere, and it was fantastic. What I love about the comic book community so much is the positivity that I wind up seeing. The opening of the video was nothing but humor and positivity and shout-outs to the community, and I wish more people would start doing this. I thank Mr. J. Hood. I don't know your name. I don't know anybody's name except Perry. I think you're lurking. So I guess, hey, Lady Fantastic, welcome everybody to the chat room. I am doing this Wednesdays, every Wednesday. Almost didn't happen tonight because I've been awake since 3 a.m. for Key West. That always takes a lot out of you. So I had 2 9 a.m. hearings, I had a 2:30 hearing, and I had to get my best friend, the one that saved me from homelessness, to go and run and get my comic books. God bless her. She is great. I don't say names on this because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I will just say, Heather, thank you. I love you. You saved my show today, because without comic books, I don't have a show. You're lurking at 11 o'clock? LOL. Perry, he's one of my favorites. Whenever I started doing this, it was because of Silver Age Dave, and then it just expanded to more and more people. Perry's one of my favorites. He lurks. He's positive. How about we get to some comic books? I have some, well, 2 packages that came in the mail today. So when she went to go get those comics, I was just coming in the door at home at about 9:30. I have 2 nice packages awaiting for me, but first, let's get into the comic books, none of which I have read because I only got home about a little more than 40 minutes ago. So let's put on my glasses so I can actually see. Sorry about the reflectivity. But first, what is in the briefcase? It is a long one. It is a heavy one. So while I open this all up, you might remember last week I was telling you about my cat Angel. She is probably going through kidney failure. One of them is not working. We've been giving her steroids. She doesn't appear to be eating at the moment, but she has more life to her. She's not lifeless and limp as she was last Wednesday when or not Wednesday, but on Saturday when I did my unboxing. I still have yet to put all that stuff away. Sometimes we're cutting down lists. This week I really didn't have to. They did it for me. But I've been having a couple issues on some of these books, so let's find out what those issues might be. So let's switch on over here to this camera. Hello, Rod. Welcome to the chat room. Here are the books for today. Let's move this into shot. Now, I remember last week I had Silver Age Dave telling me it was the fan that was causing the zoom in, zoom out. So I'm going to switch on over here to the full screen. So you don't have to look at me. I know Perry likes looking at my suits. It's my job. I wear suits. Get over it. So today we have Batman issue 79. I read last week's. It was a fantastic issue from last week. When Bruce dropped that blade in the sand, it was cinematic. It was a great issue. Speaking of which, before I get to the rest of the books, one of my favorite scenes of last week was in, I believe it was Powers of X4. I mistake the two. So we're brought back to Mr. Sinister, and Mr. Sinister is about ready to meet Professor X and Magneto for the first time. So they lead him on in and finally get Mr. Sinister in all his glory. He starts listening to Professor X and he goes, "Stop! I need to make one thing abundantly clear, if I haven't already said so. I love that cape." I love that scene. Next scene, "Hey, why don't I have a cape?" I don't know, sir. I must have forgot." Bam! Professor X, Magneto, nonplussed. "Yeah, we're just here for your genetic experiments. By the way, don't remember that we were here." Sorry, no real spoilers, but wow, that series is picking up. Can't wait to get to read the next issue today. We'll get back to that. My mind isn't fully operational because I've gotten about 2 hours sleep. Hopefully I'm a little bit more funny than I am incoherent. So on with the books. Alright, moving back over to this camera. I mean, I can jump over to this. So, with Batman 79, flash forward. I will probably read the first issue. I'm not a fan of Scott Lobdell. He's a master of starting story arcs and never finishing them, but considering that Barry Allen is a murderer now, I don't know, I don't care, and I hope that they just reset all of this. Harley Quinn #1, I wouldn't have picked this up, but my best friend Heather, she went to go pick up the books. It was in there as a buck, that's fine. Inferior 5 #1, I was looking forward to getting this because it looks very reminiscent of the Justice League 40 first appearance of Grail cover. At least to me it looks very similar. This art and story by Geffen and Jeff Lemire. Year of the Villain, Lex Luthor, issue #1 by Jason Latour. I mean, the guy did create Spider-Gwen after all. That's Brian Hitch. Dude did Ultimates. Without Ultimates, we would not have, well, probably most of the Marvel Universe today. Superman 15, please kick Bendis off this book. I'm not reading it, I'm just getting it for the covers at this point until it ends. I guess I'll start reading it here and there once I get some time, but otherwise it is a chore. What is not a chore is Absolute Carnage #3. I'm looking forward to this, but I was told first read issue 19 of Venom before getting to Absolute Carnage 3. So I'm wondering what's the holdup. Agents of Wakanda #1, starring Black Panther, Okoye, Gorilla Man. Yeah, we have a bunch of them. Wasp, Kazar. Got the run. Now we have Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, 181, the reprint. And this is an issue that I've had the entire run of Daredevil for Frank Miller, so it looks very similar to this cover. It's damn near the same. Unlike some of the other reprints where it just looks a little bit closer, a little bit further away, but all about the same to me. So next issue, I'll be giving this to my best friend Rufo to give to his kids. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #12, continuing on the storyline with Aunt May and her cancer. And a woman named Rumor, old woman, used to hang out with Captain America. Oof, who the hell's the death of? Rocket! Rocket? Yeah, definitely Rocket. I'm trying to see if I can get back to the one camera that I really like the most here. There we go. So at least you can see that I'm not reading this off of the cue card. Last night I was watching a... it wasn't an auction. What the hell was it? It was trivia night, and I don't want anybody to think that I am cheating with the Key Collector comic app. I wound up just memorizing a good portion of it. Don't have me on your show, it's probably cheating. It's not a brag, it just means that I don't really care about much other than comics and reading and figuring out what's the first appearances and getting them eventually. So if you're that targeted and have a little bit of Asperger's like me, here I am. So next after Guardians #9, we have History of the Marvel Universe, issue #3. Mark Waid has been killing it on this. I can't wait to get around to reading it. Following House of X, issue #5. I'm guessing this is, what, part 9 of the 12-issue series? To me, it all blends together. They probably just should have kept this all under one title just to have it make sense to me. It's kind of like volume number 1 through 7 of Daredevil. The issue 2020. I guess they had a reboot on Daredevil. Weird. This cover I was meaning to pick up last week, but my comic guy couldn't find it. So we found it. It's the Zarafino cover. This looks fantastic. I want to get almost all of his artwork. It is beautiful. It almost reminds me a bit of Nick Bradshaw back when he was doing the Wolverine and the X-Men show. So moving on. We have Ms. Marvel, Magnificent Ms. Marvel number 7, after she's been fighting some trolls and demons and has a new suit, and her parents knew, now they don't know, and her father has cancer. It's actually a pretty good story, written by the same guy that's doing Miles Morales, which you should also be reading. Alright. I have a problem with this right off the bat, for 2 reasons. Now, first reason is that this is Nepotism, the comic book. So imagine if you're a comic book creator, writer, artist, whatever have you. You've been working in the industry for about a good, 1, 2, 5, 10 years, and all of a sudden this dude comes along, directs a few movies with some lens flares, and his son goes, "Hey, I like comic books. Particularly the Spider-Girl one, so I'm going to do a whole thing in that universe." "Okay, son, I'm just going to slap my name on it and let's see what happens." So what happens is they push the hell out of this. Meanwhile, all these new creators, new writers get almost no publicity. Spider-Man gets it. But moreover, this is what's really pissing me off. Or as Peter would say, it's grinding my gears. So let's jump on over to the desktop so you can see my screen, because this week this book has shot up in some value. It is Spider-Girl number 59. Spider-Girl 59 is the first appearance of Benjy Parker. Now, while you start reading this story, you will see it very closely aligns to Amazing Spider-Man 121, only it's not Gwen. It's... spoiler alert. It's Face It Tiger. She got thrown off the damn bridge. But they did have a kid. That kid was Benjy Parker, and this is Nepotism Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man by Abrams' son. I'll read it. I don't want to criticize it yet before reading it, but I wish that they would give the same kind of push to others that have been creating for far longer and have real skin in the game. So let's jump back over to the camera, and I'll remove that, because I'm sure some of you have seen it, some of you have read it. Chime in the chat room. Let me know. I don't know how it is. Yeah, Lady Fantastic, that is a badass Thor variant. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but what have I? You'd almost think that I hate comics because I don't read them. It's not that. I just work 15 to 18 hours a day. I don't go to Key West every day. Tomorrow I have an 8:30 hearing at Miami-Dade Courthouse and some depositions during the day. A lot easier than driving almost 4 hours to Key West, especially at 3:30 in the morning. So Iron Man number 16 back again, and now that he is back again, we're also getting into Iron Man 2020. So if you want to jump on a book, this issue is Machine Man, issue number 2. I'll put it right down here. And this is the first appearance of Arno Stark, also known as the Iron Man of 2020. You could probably get this a lot easier in a set. And similar to that Spider-Girl number 59, again, you're probably going to have a good bet getting it in a set. The grade might not be a 9.8, but you'll have the book. And for me, it's not about a grade, it's about having the book. So, on to the next book. Oh, and speaking of various issues that maybe we should be paying attention to, I picked this up during my haul. This is when Krakoa looks like they have some eggs that are growing, and as we found out from last week's issue of House Powers of X, same damn thing to me, that it was Gold Balls from Uncanny X-Men number 1, the Brian Michael Bendis storyline, where Gold Balls comes out, seems like a dumbass character. Really loved him in Miles Morales' Spider-Man as one of his roommates, but they're not balls. They're eggs. And Proteus, I guess, inseminates him. I'm not going to try and think too much about it, but it still looks very much like this book. So it's still not maybe a key, don't know. I got it for $3 over the weekend at Phil's Comics. Brian, Take the Time Collectibles, I thank you for all the help you've been giving me. Same with CJ, John, over at CJ's Comics in Fort Lauderdale. So let's get to the last couple books, and then we can get to the unboxing, because it looks like I have gone about 17 minutes. Not bad. I'm pretty good at keeping this at 20 minutes. I don't want to annoy y'all. Okay, Leo Marquez, you have read the Spider-Man. It looks like you enjoyed it. The die cut, I'm a little over the gimmick covers. I could have gotten the die cut, but it wasn't me picking up books. I'm just happy to have it, period. Well, let me see if I read it. And here's another one I can't wait to get to reading. It is Scotty Young goodness. It is his writing, not so much his art, but the artist is great. I mean, I am loving Molina on this. That is the name, right? No, George Corona. My bad. I keep thinking, why am I thinking Molina? Don't always take me for 100%. Sometimes I'm talking so fast, and this is not even caffeine. I didn't even have a colada. This is pure adrenaline. Because I didn't think this show was going to happen tonight. I'm just glad it did. I'm happy for everybody that's here in the chat room. The Gray Man, Leo Marquez, Lady Fantastic, Perry, Bullseye Comics, Rod the Rican. Thank you all for joining me. Next, after Middle West, we are going to get to some unboxing. We're going to try and keep this short. Last week, not so short, but I had a lot of stuff. So let me get back to this camera and move on to the first box. Now, I have a Marvel and a DC unboxing. And the scissors are right here. It's always say, cut away from yourself. This way you don't cut yourself. No one wants to look like a secret cutter if they're not one. And if you are one, well, hi, my name's Rob Worst. Good to meet you too. That was a long time ago for me. We don't talk about that much. So this looks like it's wrapped pretty well. It's in bubble wrap. It's in a mailer. I cover up my address because, well, there's the tracking. Here's the package. I always want to keep things above board. You're not going to get my address. I don't know everybody, and I don't want any trolls trying to dox me and go, hey, I know where you can find an Action Comics 242. Besides, I don't own a gun. All right, so let's see here. Hi, thank you for your purchase. Be sure to click follow, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this is the DC one, and I will snip this, and I will snip this, and I will snip this. So said the man going in for a vasectomy. What is the definition of masculinity? A man running away from his own vasectomy. So here we are. It's the same people that I wound up getting the books from last weekend. This is a Grail. I know if you saw Adult Swim a few years ago when it was the Legion. I just want some pants. Solomon Grundy just wants pants. And then Lex Luthor. Well, I want pants too. Cheetah. I want pants. And they all want pants. All Solomon Grundy wanted was some pants. So this is a pretty, well, I would still probably look at this at maybe a 7.5 or an 8. There's some spine ticks. And I don't have much of a glare here, so let's jump on back over to this camera. Well, let's just switch around. So here is the book. It is pretty nice. You can see the spine ticks. There's nothing horrible. I will rebag this and board it, and it will go back up on my wall because I am all about my wall books. Because back when I had to sell and get rid of everything, it was not a choice. I just had to sell because it was either stay in my apartment or try and find another job. That didn't happen. I sold a lot of books to the guy that winds up running the Miccosukee comic book show at the end of the month here in Miami. And ever since then, I've been trying to get them all back, as you can see behind me. Some of the ones I'm still looking for is the Werewolf by Night 32, Tomb of Dracula 10. Believe it or not, even though it's now on the top 10 CBSI mixed comics. There we go. Tank Girl. I used to have Tank Girl #1. It was like a $10 book. I didn't have Deadline 1, though. I've never seen it. So we have another well bubbled up book. So let's take a look and see what is inside. I am not going to read the paper on this because I'm pretty sure it's about the same. Yes, please follow. This I've been looking forward to getting for so long. I have never owned this book, so I can't wait to see how it is. Give it a little cleaning, maybe give it a little press, and I still need to do a video showing how I do all that. And again, I am by no means a professional presser or grader or cleaner. We all have our own methods, and I see the book now. It is so nice. Now, I have this shirt where it's a bunch of old comic characters where I'm like, I can have the first appearance of that guy, I can have the first appearance of that guy. First appearance of the Hulk and Spider-Man getting a little expensive, but certain ones I can get. So one of those certain ones is right here in front of me. I'm just removing the tape because tape is my worst enemy. I know some people prefer the painter's tape, but I prefer my own way to do just about everything because I'm a weirdo. I'm a creep. What the hell is wrong with me? Really, what the hell is wrong with me? How did I buy this? Yo! Hello! Avengers 57! First appearance of Vision. I've been waiting for this book for so long. Every time I bid for it, I only have a certain price in mind. I won't go higher than it. And not only did I get it under that price, I got under that price by about $60. It was really nice to get it. And this looks like it could possibly be maybe a 7.5, an 8. No, I can see the lines here. Maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7. A press could always help, but the blacks are so nice on this. Just look at the corner. The problem, you can see it. Just along the spine, it was well read. Yeah, lime. Tape is the worst enemy. Why is tape the worst enemy? I'm going to show you 2 books behind me of why you should always remove your damn tape. Now, both of these books, one I got back when I was a child, and the other one I got recently. The one I got as a child, I did the tape mistake myself. The other one, somebody else did, which is why I got it for cheap. I might have shown this book a little while ago, so this is, actually let me put that right back in here. So here is a tape book. It is Green Arrow issue number 76, and as you can see right, no, not there, beneath the microscope, right in there, somebody forgot to take the tape off, and otherwise what would be probably, maybe even a 9. No longer a 9 because remove the tape before you take it out of the bag. This one is the one I had since I was a child. It is the issue number 1 of The Submariner, signed by Stan Lee. I still have the ticket from when I went to go to this when I was a child. It was back in the 90s. My dad took me. So when I'm telling you to take the tape off, but I mean from the back of the book, take the tape off before taking the book out. Because otherwise you will rip that stuff off. I'm trying not to do profanity. I'll do that in other people's live videos if they'll let me. But on this one, I know that sometimes people wind up playing these in comic book stores. I'm just trying to help you not make the mistakes I have made. Otherwise, don't restore, only preserve. And by preserving, we clean it. And how do we clean it? I am going to show you my tools. Yes, my tools. I'm not going to use them today because I don't have time for that. I have an 8:30 hearing tomorrow and I have to be up at 4:30 in the morning. So here are 2 tools that I use. I'll place this next to the books. So these are dental tools, and each and every one of these has a reason. So this is to turn pages if I wind up having them a little too brittle. Very helpful. And the picks are to get rid of any kind of dirt or perhaps if there's a page that is folded over a bit, and this can help just to pull it out so you're not using your fingers. Use your fingers, it's very likely to rip, and you just took down at least by a good couple, maybe not an entire percentage point, but a 0.2, maybe a 0.4. We want to try and preserve these books the best we can. Now I have these erasers. Now I have this just to cover it, and I have this in a 2.3, so this will erase lines that are between very easily. Very much the same thing. This one here is more flat, so it's kind of almost like calligraphy. Very helpful. So these I help just to wind up polishing off the cover. Otherwise, after I wind up dusting it off, after I erase it, that's when I take a little bit of lighter fluid, put it in a spray bottle. I don't spray the comic directly, I do it just over and above. So let's take this back to my main camera. So let's say if I'm looking at this, and if I have it lying on the table, rather than on the comic, you just spray it in the air, and it kind of mists over. And then you wipe it down, and it's just a process. I'm not going to do the process now. I've been going 28 minutes, and I know there are other shows. I am not the only one. I am not the only one in the world. I always have to remind myself of that, because sometimes I'm just not thinking of things. When you're looking at comics, you get some wall eyes. No restoration. We don't want to restore these, because back when I was a child, I did try and restore this. Right down here, you can see right there that I mutilated this damn thing. I tried to do like a little bit of color touch, and it's not good. When you do any kind of real restoration, it's not that you make a book worthless, you just make it that much more devalued. It's about preserving, not restoration. With staples, you don't replace staples. They would call that conservatorship. You don't want that in a book. You might want to pick off the rust if you can with an X-Acto blade, but otherwise, the book is what it is. You're not going to be able to improve a color break so bad that it breaks right along through here. I mean, there is no way that you are going to get out that amount of wrinkling. Oh, yep, Lady Fantastic, you definitely see that. That is Stanley. I have a couple of them here. And so, well, other things that are going to be coming up this week on Friday, I guess I should probably tell you about this. So it's going to be my big break. I will be losing to Bake the Snake on The Boy Who Had Seven. I think his name's Matt. I think I overheard that somewhere. So because I'm looking out for that, I can't wait. And once we finally get that ready and going, I guess I'm going to try and not win, just make myself not look like a crazy person. So otherwise, let me just look over here for some last minute things. And we're getting pretty close to the end of the show. I don't really want to overstep my bounds. So when you hear this from now on, this is Sun Lounger, Richard Shaw, being played by Armin van Buuren. It's one of my favorite songs. I am a trance fan. I like techno. I make no apologies for it. So do not pay $100 for that Spider-Girl 59. Wait a while. I am done with miniseries, no matter what it is, unless it's a real big key, because miniseries, I'm tired of reading things that are made explicitly for movies. I want a continuing story. I want another saga. Give me another saga. I know y'all are wanting to read Once and Future. I know about Something is Killing the Children, but if they're miniseries, don't be paying $100. Wait until it finishes. Wait a year until it finishes. That $100 book you'll probably get for $10. Unless it becomes a movie. My name's Rob Wurst. thank you for joining me on this show. I am here every Wednesday at 10 o'clock at night. Please join me next week. But don't forget, on Friday at 8 p.m., I will be grabbing all these books here because, why don't I just do this? Huh? Y'all want to see what the room looks like? Right as I close out the show? Let's do that. I'm going to jump on over to the other camera. We are going to unplug it, and you're going to see what my room looks like for the very first time. There we go. Let us take this off. So when they have to tell me to go and grab a book tomorrow, I have books all ready to go. I just want to tell people about this so it doesn't look like I'm cheating, because I have most of these things ready to go. I've been collecting comic books for over 30 years, not more collecting, mostly as a reader. Only this last year have I been buying a lot of books. So here's the rest of the stuff over on this side. So many comics. So many comics. All the stuff under there is the stuff I'm selling. So thank you for joining me. I will see you all on Friday. Till then, thank you for joining me. Sub everyone up in the chat room, hit that like button, and hopefully I can provide more value to you in the future. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Good night. Oh, yes, vote for me and hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification button. That way you can find out when I have new videos and new comics. So many new comics. So many.